Pikmin tree is a pretty well-known cast of main characters. We have Captain Charlie, Brittany, Alf, and who is this? Meese Character D, the character that has confused Pikmin fans ever since 2012. Character D was showcased during E3 at Pikmin Tree's reveal in an image displayed on the venue's screen. This image was showcased while Miyamoto was discussing Pikmin Tree having several captains that you can control, but the character himself isn't present in any of the gameplay clips. Instead we just see Alf, Brittany, and not Captain Charlie but another completely separate character, who appears to just be Alf but with a red suit and blonde hair, which was probably not final, unlike the 4 characters here that will definitely be added. Well, after that event and leading up to Pikmin Tree's release, the game was advertised to have 3 playable captains, so what about Character D? Has he been reduced to a support role? Of course, Pikmin Tree eventually did come out. It's almost 12 years old now, which I don't like thinking about, and there was no Character D. You can play as him in the game, and he isn't an all-skin in Smash Bros. A completely new main character just casually showing up at a large event and then immediately vanishing afterwards left a lot of questions unanswered. We still know basically nothing about Character D aside from his design, which is kinda similar to Louie's design. It's also theorized and highly likely that his name was Drake, due to the characters' names in Pikmin Tree being based off the military alphabet. Notably, in the final game, the name Drake is used for the ship. The most likely answer to this mystery is that because this is a concept sketch, Character D was more of a placeholder than anything for the idea of several captains, and he was probably scrapped really early on when they honed in on only having 3 different captains. He was probably never intended to be a big main character or a twist villain in Pikmin Tree. It is pretty strange that they used this concept sketch in the actual event, which was clearly a beta sketch, because it just led to a lot of mystery around this character because he just randomly became lost media. Brian, that Luigi edit kinda scared me.
Don't worry about it, Stewie, it's all make-believe.
Anyways, that brings us to the topic of this video, which are the various secrets, Easter eggs, and mysteries included in the Pikmin series. I did already make a video about this, but there is still quite a lot to cover about this, so this is basically a sequel. If something in the Pikmin series is mysterious, a secret, or Easter egg-sterious, it will be discussed in this video, and we'll also have a few mysteries that aren't directly in the Pikmin games, but do relate to the franchise. Anyways, before we delve into these, be sure to subscribe for high-quality Pikmin videos weekly. I previously mentioned Pikmin wants several endings in the last video, but Pikmin Tree actually does have several endings as well. In fact, it has the most amount of endings at 4, 5 if you count the game over screen. Now these separate endings don't get discussed that much, and the biggest reason for that is unlike Pikmin 1's separate endings, which are pretty different from each other and have separate cutscenes, Pikmin Tree's endings are pretty identical. In fact, you might have beaten the game several times and not even realized that there were separate endings. These endings are based on how many fruits you collected, but basically every cutscene will remain the exact same. However, there is this little narration section after beating the game, and that is what gets changed. If you are a complete fucking buffoon and are unable to collect more than 32 fruits, the ending states the explorers collected a modest supply of seeds, but they are unsure if it will be enough to stop the food issues that plague Koppaite. If you get between 33 fruits and 53 fruits, the ending states that this reasonable supply of fruits may be enough to save Koppaite, but only if the population plans their resources effectively. Collecting between 54 and 65 fruits will net you a more positive ending. As the narration states, you have earned a healthy supply of fruits and that the tree captains earn the wisdom of planning. Finally, the best ending is given to you if you collect every single fruit, and just states that the supply will save Koppaite, and also raises the question of if the crashes that commonly occur on PNF 404 are actually natural. Unless you beelined it directly to the final boss before collecting all the fruits, you probably wouldn't be aware of these separate endings. They obviously aren't as cool as Pikmin 1's endings, but for what they are, it is pretty neat that the game does actually give you a different assessment depending on how much fruit you got. Speaking of Pikmin 1, that game has a few pretty hidden animations in it. If you leave a Pikmin idle for a while, they will start impatiently tapping the floor, which only happens in this game. This one isn't much of a secret and is pretty common, but due to the Pikmin being small, it's actually pretty hard to notice unless you are specifically looking out for it. It's pretty cute animation. Speaking of Pikmin idle animations, in Pikmin 4 the Pikmin can dance around Ochi if you stay still, and occasionally Ochi will sneeze, which scares the Pikmin. Back to Pikmin 1, this game has the lying down ability, which is exclusive to Pikmin 1 and 2, but if you're idle for a pretty long time, it will actually trigger automatically due to Olimar going into a coma because of boredom. Due to Pikmin having time limits, there's basically zero reason to ever go idle without pausing, so this one is pretty unknown. Also, if you get dragged to the onion while napping, fireworks come out, whoopee, and this also occurs in Pikmin 2. Oh wait, no it doesn't. No wonder the nostalgia critic or whoever it was didn't like this game. Even more unknown is this one relating to boulders in Pikmin 1. Now if a small enemy gets hit by a boulder in every subsequent Pikmin game, this happens. They die, but not much else occurs. However, in Pikmin 1, this happens. Yeah, they actually get completely flattened by the boulder. You can still carry these small enemies' flattened corpses as well. If you have never seen this happen before, it's because it just straight up cannot occur during regular gameplay. There are never any small enemies near enough to boulders for this to happen, which just makes this detail pretty strange as it goes completely unused unless you modify the game. Not to mention, most enemies in Pikmin 1 just don't have any interactions with boulders at all, they won't even take damage from them. Even weirder is the fact that it's only in Pikmin 1 that this happens, and it was removed from every other Pikmin game despite boulders being made much more common, and them killing small enemies could actually occur now. The only reason I can think of why they didn't bring this back is that they just couldn't be bothered. It's quite a lot of effort for something that goes completely unused in the final game. Speaking of really hidden things that had a good amount of effort put into them, yeah, there's a completely hidden mechanic in Pikmin 2 that lets you pick up bomb rocks. Now before you boot up Pikmin 2 and proceed to nuke your whole squad in the subterranean complex attempting to pull this off, this specific mechanic only occurs once in the entire game, in the last 2-player battle mode level. If you run into a bomb rock, your captain will pick it up. Pressing the A button will cause them to throw the bomb rock, while B will drop it on the floor. Both of these will activate the bomb rock. Despite it being a really underused mechanic, it is useful in the one stage it's utilized in. You can use the bombs to operate terrorist attacks against the unsuspecting Louie and greatly inconvenience the other player, and it adds a good amount of strategy to the map. You can try to devastate or even completely wipe out your opponent's Pikmin while their guard is down, but you should also be wary that this can literally blow up in your face, as if you don't flee from the explosion fast enough, your captain will take damage. I don't know what kind of jerk would throw bomb rocks at their opponent anyways. Dude, this car kicks ass and I can watch Pikmin anime while I'm driving!
Big mouth! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Ah! Dude, this Pikmin anime is so fucking funny, it makes me want to merge into the serial experiment line without looking.
And you don't seem to understand.
The Pikmin anime was an elusive slice-of-life anime. The only clip ever recovered of this anime was uploaded to YouTube around 15 years ago, and is a 1-minute clip. If you are a long-time Pikmin fan, then you might be familiar with this. It shows Olimar sitting down at night, presumably on PNF 404, and we see that he misses his family. Then the Pikmin decide to cheer him up by bringing him a flower. How considerate. If this actually happened in the game, they wouldn't be bringing Olimar flowers. Now with this full clip, which is of a pretty high animation quality, a lot of people thought that there was an official Pikmin anime that had become lost to time, but no, it doesn't exist. Nintendo has never made a Pikmin anime, and it's just a fan animation, so yeah, that solves that mystery, but if Nintendo didn't make it, then who did? Well, nobody knows. The very first upload of this animation on YouTube states in the description that it isn't theirs and that it was likely made outside of Japan. Nobody has ever credited the original animator, and nobody's ever found the exact origin of the short, so yeah, it's still a mystery and an interesting piece of lost media. I already had a joke with you in this video, sawed off. In the previous video I mentioned the Pikmin singing, but there were a few songs I missed. Starting with Pikmin 2, your squad of Pikmin will hum 2 songs throughout regular gameplay. The first one is a 3-note song. The second one is a 6-note song. Now this is really noticeable in normal gameplay and doesn't seem like much of a secret, in fact it just seems like random idle humming. But what you probably didn't know is that these 2 songs do actually have meaning. If they hum the 3-note song, that means there is treasure present in that sublevel. But if they hum the 6-note song, that means you have cleared the sublevel of treasure. It's a small detail and never the most useful as you get the treasure gauge early enough, but the humming can occasionally come in handy, mostly in ROM hacks that take the treasure gauge away from you. Pikmin 4 also has several songs that the Pikmin sing, similar to the 2 secret songs in Pikmin 2 and 3. But this time there are 6 of them and there is no specific criteria that needs to be met, they will just do it at random. First off we have the Awakening Wood from Pikmin 2. Then there's also the 6-note song from Pikmin 2. Next up we have the Garden of Hope from Pikmin 3. Then there's the Dandori Bell theme from Pikmin 4. The Pikmin also still have PTSD from Pikmin 2 and occasionally sing the Water Rates Chase theme. The final song is fully original. I do remember some people saying it was the final trial from Pikmin 1 when the game came out, but it's not. After a few months we got a full version of the song in 2 separate advertisements. I do remember both these advertisements being perceived as hints for DLC, because apparently everybody thinks Nintendo is the Zodiac Killer and that they leave subtle clues for Pikmin 4 DLC on social media. Unfortunately, most of these always just end up being nothing burgers and are usually just promotional material for Pikmin 4. They also have another ad that tells you how to play this small song on the piano. It's not that much of a bop, guys. It is a pretty charming song and occasionally gets stuck in my head. Is Kanye a Pikmin fan? We talked a lot about sing-songs, but there is one sing that was never songed, and that is Kanye's cancelled album known as TurboGrafx-16. This album was set to release in 2016, but it never came out, and there is a photo of its production which shows a list of games Kanye wanted to sample from, and one of those games is Pikmin 2. Now, because this album was never actually released, we don't know what it would have sampled from Pikmin 2, and we also probably won't get an answer to if Kanye is actually a Pikmin fan. Interesting that the game listed here is Pikmin 2. Pikmin 3 was out for a good while when this album was being made. I did actually hear that Kanye did play that one and didn't enjoy it as much, as he was not very fond of the Jews. Speaking of that game, there are various pieces of text in Pikmin 3 and 4 written in this seemingly gibberish language. However, this language is not gibberish and can be translated as every letter corresponds to a letter in the American language. Translating these bits of text often doesn't lead to much. See this text next to the onion? It translates to onion. There are occasionally a few cool things, like on the map screen of Pikmin 3, there's a note on the distant tundra that says it follows the name of the distant spring. There's also a note on the formidable oak that says it follows the name of the final trial. No the fuck it doesn't. The most interesting letter in this alphabet is this one, which only shows up in the side menus such as mission mode, and it does not have a translation. This letter is only present in Pikmin 3 for the Wii U, it does not show up in Pikmin 4 at all and was removed from Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I don't know what this letter did that made Nintendo try to bury it up so much, but it, along with character D, will be characters that are gone, but not forgotten. To cap the video off, we have some small secrets from Pikmin 4. We have this treasure. Some may say it looks like a candle, and it has a flame on top of this. But what happens if you throw a Pikmin on the flame? Just kidding, it actually lights the Pikmin on fire. Speaking of fire, ice Pikmin die from fire 2 seconds faster than every other Pikmin, at 4 seconds instead of 6. But they do also have the benefit of breaking out of bubbles faster. And finally, you can do this with candy pop buds.
Hooray!
Anyways, that concludes even more mysteries and secrets of Pikmin. It was fun looking through most of these. This will probably be the last video about this subject, as I think I've exhausted the secrets and mystery supply, but it was fun looking through these. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to comment your most heinous and darkest secret in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe or your existence will become a complete mystery.